I feel like I should be shocked. I feel like I should be more surprised by this, but I think I'm becoming desensitized to this kind of thing. I mean, like it's not like we didn't see it coming to a degree. You know, we knew that this whole like hardware pricing thing, like, yeah, we know it's just getting worse. You know, RAM prices are gonna be bad for a couple of years while the whole infrastructure kind of catches up and the AI yada yada. But I don't know, like this should be shocking. This should be like spit your drink out of your mouth. Shocking. Because it kind of is. That's the thing. We keep getting these price increases, and so often they're just so much more than I feel like we should reasonably expect. You know, like the jumps are just so big. Okay, let's get to the point. Xbox has announced that they are raising prices of their hardware once again, and you know, citing the usual increasing component prices and all that stuff that we've all come to expect, yada yada. And okay, so the new prices, so on the cheapest end, you've got the Xbox Series S, which was always supposed to be the you know, the budget model. The 512 gigabyte model was previously sold for $400. That was, you know, after a different price rise. It's up to $500 now. See, that's what I'm saying. $100. Not even just like 30, 50. No, $100 up. So the Xbox Series S is now just as expensive as the Series X was originally. So that's cool. And then the 1 terabyte model is going from $450 to $600. So $150 on top of that. So yeah, sure, it's the 1 terabyte model, so it's the nicer version of them, but it's still the budget console. It is now $600. It's now $100 more than the Series X was originally. And okay, so now we move on to the actual Series X, the 1 terabyte all digital model. So again, kind of you know, a more budget friendly model, was $600. It is also going up by $150 to $750. $750 for the all digital Series X. And furthermore, finally, last but certainly not least, the 1 terabyte disk drive Series X was $650. It is also going up by $150. $800. Yeah, closing in on $1,000. Nearly as much as a PS5 Pro, which, you know, is a lot more powerful than a Series X. $800. $300 over the original price. People are joking now that if you bought a Series X, like, at a markup from a scalper at launch, you got a better deal than you get now if you go to the store and you buy a brand new Series X. $800 for the one with the disk drive. Yeah, I'm looking at mine right now. It's sitting right down there. It has gone up by $300. It has appreciated in value by $300 since I bought it. And it's like, it's just particularly funny seeing it come from Xbox because, like, they've not been selling a lot of hardware. Their sales this generation have been very, very not good. Not good at all. In fact, I was just looking up the sales year by year, and apparently they've only sold 34.5 million units worldwide so far, and we are approaching the end of the generation. This November will be 6 years, and we may get new hardware next year. Yeah, in 2020 they sold 3 million at launch. 2021, 7.5, 2022, 8.5, 23, about 7.5, 24, 5.2. So starting to dip already. And then last year, presumably because this was when the prices started going up, they only moved 2.7 million units. So, like, basically their sales were on a decline and then cut in half from there. So now, in 2026, after, when was the last price rise? I want to say the other one was this year too, right? The previous price increase, I feel like it was pretty recently. Well, whatever the case, at least now we're halfway through 2026, and the prices are going up that much more. That much more. And all of this, among all of this other Xbox related drama where they're just like planning on potentially shutting down all of their studios and canceling all of their original games, just, you know, just giving us even less reason than ever to buy an Xbox. If their sales were already so bad, then what's going to happen now? Who's going to be buying a Series X in 2026 for $800? Now, perhaps it could be argued that they're raising the prices this much because they are in such a situation where they're like, all right, we've already lost. We've already lost the race. We're already not really moving these things. Let's at least set it at a price where we're not losing too much money per unit when people do decide to buy it. I suppose, maybe. I mean, at this point, they're not really putting out a lot of games, so like, what's going to push someone to get an Xbox, you know? What value is there beyond, like, just something to play Game Pass on? Like, if you haven't bought one already, I don't know why you would now at $800. So I don't know. On the one hand, I'm like, what's the point of all this? Why are you doing this? You're just shooting yourself in the foot even more. But then on the other hand, maybe it is because they just don't even care anymore. They've already lost. Whatever, try to recoup some cost. And of course, I'm a Nintendo YouTuber primarily, and I cannot help but look at this and try to imagine how this might eventually affect us in the Nintendo sphere. Nintendo put out the Switch 2 a little bit more expensive than we would have expected like a year or two ago. Now it makes more sense, and they held off on raising the price for as long as they could, about a year, and then they reluctantly raised the price by $50, which is now like absolutely nothing compared to how much Sony and Microsoft have been raising their hardware prices. So like, on Xbox's end, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see if Sony has another price increase. You know, how much is this Microsoft really genuinely responding to these rising prices in hardware components? And how much is it them kind of overshooting? You know, plenty of this could be just kind of greed-based or whatever. But if any of this at all is, like, legitimate, like if it's true that the hardware really is just becoming that absurdly expensive to produce, then, like, the Switch 2 is going to go up in price again very soon. You know, like if Xbox is justifying raising their prices by $150 on top of all of the other previous increases, then, like, I don't want to say we're lucky that Nintendo only raised the price by 50. None of us are lucky in this situation at all, but like, it kind of feels like 50 was us getting off easy, at least when you look at it the right way, and it kind of feels like another price increase is absolutely inevitable and maybe even very soon. I don't know if maybe Nintendo, they're okay because they stockpiled so many systems for their first year. I don't know, but like, yeah. Xbox is raising prices by 150. 150. It feels inevitable. Nintendo's gonna have to throw at least another 50 on there. But I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe this is just Xbox being Xbox. Maybe they could get away with not raising the prices nearly as much as they are raising them here. Maybe I just don't really care that much anymore. I really don't know. As always, we get very mixed messaging from them. Wait and see what Sony does, what Nintendo does. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I'll make a video about it yet, but there is this idea going around that it could be that the whole, like, price, the RAM shortages, it could be kind of a big price fixing kind of scandal. It could be that the prices have been kind of artificially inflated. I'm not really sure. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but I guess we will see. That would be nice. That would be nice if we somehow discovered that the problem is worse than it needs to be, and if that could help it be not as bad. Okay, yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be a start.